And next is Shannon Carroll is going to present. You ready?
Before I begin my presentation, I would just like to offer a content warning, as my work and the work on which it is based deals heavily with the themes of sexual assault and violence against women. So if you do need to step out of the room, please feel free to do so. As Professor McNeil said before, my name is Shannon Carroll, and I've written an adaptation of the end of the novel Tess of the d'Urbervilles, which I have decided to name Être, lève. The reason for that will become evident in a moment. But first, some context. Just wouldn't like to throw you right into the depths of a Victorian novel you might not have read, especially for all the family members who are here. In the original text, the novel begins with the title character, Tess Durbeyfield's father, being told that they are of an old, prestigious Norman family. This is important because prestige is a precursor to wealth in this society. This is also the reason why the title of my project is in French, as a reference to Tess's heritage. After finding this out, Tess's father spends most of the night at the Pure Drop Inn and is unable to deliver the beehives he must sell the next morning. Tess is made to deliver them instead, but as she has also been awake most of the night trying to get her parents to come home from said inn, she falls asleep, and in an accident, the horse, Prince, is killed. Delivering the beehives is the Durbeyfield's main income, so the family is forced to send Tess to claim kin with the wealthy d'Urbervilles in Trantridge. Tess's parents do this in hopes of marrying Tess off to the wealthy Alec d'Urberville, but Tess is not really interested in this. When Tess is at Trantridge, she is tending Mrs. d'Urberville's fowl and avoiding Alec, as he is very persistent in making unwanted advances at Tess. One night, after leaving a group of workers walking back from a function with Alec, Alec gets the two lost, and Tess falls asleep on the forest floor while Alec pretends to find someone to ask for directions. Alec then comes back and rapes Tess. Following this, Tess leaves Trantridge to go home, give birth, and bury her baby all in the same year. After this, Tess goes to Talbothays Dairy to work. Here she meets Angel Clare for the second time. Their first meeting was in passing at an impromptu dance in the street. This is also where we are introduced to the character Marion, a stout woman who, beside Tess, is depicted as loving Angel more deeply than all the other dairymaids at the farm. So much so that she turns to alcohol following the revelation that he loves Tess. Tess and Angel fall for each other, Tess refusing at first to marry Angel because she is afraid her past will follow her. Eventually, she agrees to marry him. After they are married, she tells him what happened to her. Angel is horrified. Not that Tess had been raped, but that she has had premarital sex. He says to her, "Forgiveness does not apply to the case. You were one person, now you are another. The woman I have been loving is not you." He then leaves her to go to Brazil and see different methods of farming, running from her and her situation. Following this, Tess goes to a stave farm in Flintcomb Ash, where she rejoins Marion. This is very intense physical labor, and Tess is treated poorly by the farmer, who resents her because when in the past he spoke badly of her, Angel punched him in the face. At this time, Alec also comes back into the story, briefly a preacher of a very intense sect of Christianity following conversion by Angel's own vicar of a father, because everything has to come together. After seeing Tess, he quits this to stalk and harass Tess, telling her things like, "I was your master once, I'll be your master again," and "If you are any man's wife, you are mine." Then, both of Tess's parents' health begins to decline, and she is forced to return home. After the death of her father, her family is forced to find a new place to live. At the same time, Angel comes back from Brazil, sick and full of regret for leaving Tess. He goes to find Tess, but finds that she is living with Alec, forced by circumstance to have her family be supported by her rapist. At first, Tess rejects Angel's apology, and then, after Alec teases her for her distress over the very emotional ordeal, she does what is natural and stabs him to death. You know, like you do. She then runs away with Angel. The two do not get far. They are caught quite quickly, and Tess is hung for the murder. The novel ends with Angel leaving with Tess's family. We are led to believe to marry her younger sister, Liza Lou, who just so happens to look almost exactly like Tess. Because that's fun. Women are interchangeable. Yeah. So now that we got the recap out of the way. The most strong themes I feel in this text were Tess as a fallen woman for being raped. The idea of a fallen woman is that once a woman has had premarital sex, she is impure, unfit to be a wife or engage in Victorian society. My story challenges this, reinforcing the theme in Christina Rossetti's Goblin Market, in which the love of another woman essentially brings the character Laura back from near death to a healthy and happy state. She then goes on to get married, but we don't have to talk about that. Tess, the other important themes are Tess falling deeper, ever deeper into despair, her family driven from her childhood home and forced to be supported by her rapist, Alec d'Urberville Stoke. This is done to show how Tess's assault and her telling her husband of her assault is what led to her tragic end, a very powerful social critique for the time. Tess's murder of Alec in a fit of fury and passion and her subsequent hanging. This shows how desperate and far from logic and reason the trauma of her situation and the isolation from her support system, such as her friends, her family, her husband, has pushed Tess. The extent to which this influences her mental health and decision-making is monumental. And lastly, Angel's regret of his cold treatment to Tess too late and being ultimately unable to save her. As Angel is written to be a very kind and genuinely likable character, showing the qualities of a man meeting the Victorian code of chivalry, this is done to redeem Tess in the eyes of the reader, making her a sympathetic character despite her status as being a fallen woman. We learned in our class that the author, Thomas Hardy, fought very hard, including putting in a new bit of the title to make sure everyone knew that Tess was a pure woman. She is a victim here, and that was a very powerful statement. What I've changed in the story is I've given Tess a very strong support system in the form of Marion and the Queens of Diamonds and Spades, two women Tess interacts with at Trantridge and Flintcomb. In the original text, none of these women really knew what Tess has gone through, why she does what she does, etc. In my version, these women talk to each other and support each other, showing how vital it is for women to have a support system made up of women in a patriarchal society. I also represented the ways in which LGBT plus women of the time could exist by presenting the relationship between Tess and Marion as something that they couldn't have known to anyone, including Tess's family. I also included Angel as a support system in this relationship, as he sticks around as Tess's legal husband to quell suspicion of the nature of the two's relationship. I also accomplished this by using appropriate terminology. As you might know, words like gay and lesbian either weren't yet coined or did not have the meaning of referring to LGBT people at the time. I also embellished on what Hardy already provided. Marion is described in very masculine ways, as being very stout and shabby, and Tess as an odd maid who was put off by the idea that a man might be interested in marrying her. It was very easy to take passages of Marion drinking to forget that she couldn't have Angel Clare as her own and interpret these as her pining for Tess instead, using the idea that she loved Angel as a smokescreen so that she would be able to openly grieve for the lost opportunity. What I think was the most important decision I made, however, was to have the community support Tess and hold Alec accountable for his crime. Now, because of this, my work would probably be most correctly labeled as a parody or neo-Victorian work, as the idea of a community, A, believing a woman's accusation, and B, taking it very seriously beside the potential loss of financial prospects of marrying Tess off to a wealthy family would have been slim to none, both because of the time period and the Derbyfield's position as a low-income rural household with no social safety net or support system. This story operates as a commentary on both the original source material and Victorian culture through the lens of gender studies and queer theory, written to closely mirror Hardy's own writing style in the form of part domestic fiction, part gritty revenge thriller, and part social commentary, just like the original. My general approach was to tell a happy story for a woman of low birth, a rape survivor surviving and thriving with the support of other women, and of men facing consequences for their actions. Thank you.